line of company.
Tonight on Ctv3 News, carrot producers up in arms as their product rots in the fields. They say the local market is saturated with the imported product. The Ministry of Agriculture says otherwise. We bring you both sides tonight. We'll also tell you about a stabbing incident that occurred in the village of Caledonia over the weekend but went under the radar. Former UDP Minister Erwin Contreras declines to appear before the Special Select Committee public hearing. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Wednesday, May 29th, 2024.
As the BMDC, we are the marketing arm for the Ministry of Agriculture, so we have to ensure there is food security. And secondly, we have to ensure that there are markets for the local produce. So what we do in this case, with food security, whenever there is no local production, we are the importing body. When it comes now to markets for farmers, most of the time, as I mentioned, if there is not enough production in the country, we would import part of it and we would buy that from the remainder from the farmers. In that case, we assure them that there is a market for their produce.
3 years ago, BMDC was not what it is right now, believe me. You know, we have invested heavily in all branches, and especially in the Big Falls branch and the Orange Walk branch, to equip our facilities for growth and for more farmers to come into stream. The greatest impact is in the rice industry. When we started, there was a production of 300,000 pounds of rice paddy. This year, we're expecting 3.5 to 4 million pounds of rice paddy.
The other line of product that we are dealing with is the Billy's Jewels fruit pulps. This is something that is new on the pipeline. We deal with the small farmers. We buy the pulps from them, we package it, and then we have it for our local market. All of this is an effort to ensure that we have a market for these fruits that would otherwise have been wasted if we weren't doing the pulping at the moment. When it comes to beekeeping, the BMDC has improved on its installations at the Orange Walk branch, where we have our buying center.
We sell to marketing board with contract, so whatever we produce, they buy from us.
The BMDC doing a very good job, yes. They buy our rice and they pay we. We don't have to wait to piece payment. They pay we 60% and 2-3 months they give you the next rest.
We deliver our products to them and they pay us one time, and look like the rice financial is going up and look like it's helping us a lot.
We make wise decisions as a business entity to ensure that the farmers benefit, and at the same time we make an income out of it to be able to do more projects.
Fast approaching. Pro FC is back in Orange Walk Town on Saturday, June 15th, inside the Orange Walk Multi-Purpose Complex, exclusively on Channel 53 on Centaur.
The Office of the Prime Minister invites you to the National MSME Roadshow 2024. Join us for free workshops in marketing using AI, finance, business planning, and customer service. Connect with financial institutions for access to finance opportunities, meet with key government agencies, and showcase your business at the Roadshow Expo in an effort to get more locals to buy Belizean. We will be in Orange Walk Town, June 13th to the 15th, PG, June 27th to the 29th, Corozal, July 11th to the 13th, Benque, July 25th to the 27th, San Pedro, August 15th to the 17th, Key-Cocker, August 23rd to the 24th, Belmopan, August 29th to the 31st, Hopkins, September 13th to the 14th, San Ignacio, September 26th to the 28th, Tangriga, October 10th to the 12th, Placentia, October 18th to the 19th, and Belize City, October 24th to the 26th. Sign up today for the National MSME Roadshow. For more information, follow us on Facebook at Beltrade or call us at 880-3737. Sign up today for the National MSME Roadshow. Let's get your business on the road.
evening. With your news also simulcast on Face FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. For several days, the issue of the local carrot production has been discussed on the front line after reports surfaced that local carrots are rotting in the fields as farmers have been unable to sell their product in the local market. Now, while it has been rumored that the situation is being compounded by the illegal importation of this commodity into the market, the Ministry of Agriculture has come out to clarify that current market prices for carrots remain low due to an oversupply attributed to overlapping harvest cycles in Orange Walk, Corozal, and the Cayo districts. And to prove their point, today they invited the media to visit the fields of carrot producers here in the north. Norma Ruiz reports.
The media was today invited to tour carrot fields in the Orange Walk and Corozal districts to get a better understanding of the ongoing issues of overstock in the domestic market, which has been seriously affecting farmers, especially in the north. Our first stop was an Indian church where we visited the farm of Jose David Gonzalez, who has about 2 acres of carrots, which have been ready to harvest since the middle of May. With an excess on the market and low prices, Gonzalez, however, says he has held off from harvesting his product until this week when he can fetch a slightly better price.
Ajá. Pues la situación estábamos un poquito, no, pues sí lo hacía afligido porque no había negocio para ello, pero ahorita parece que se está componiendo un poquito, a ver cómo va más adelante. Bueno, siempre hemos tenido problemas, ¿no? Porque con el precio, porque no vamos a comparar ahorita con los años atrás, ¿no? Está un poquito mejor, pero años atrás las zanahorias de 15 y 10 y mejor lo dejábamos en el campo, se perdía. Ahora pues no ha bajado de 25, pero tampoco nos resulta con la mano de obra muy caro, ¿no? Nadie quiere trabajar ya quiere sus $40 en el día y entonces no podemos vender el producto así barato, ¿no? 25 pues todavía no nos resulta. Por ejemplo, este pedazo es de mi hijo, pero ahí la tiene porque únicamente se podía vender a 25, dijo, no, sí, no lo puedo sacar. Entonces ahorita voy a estar el precio como 30, 35. Ahí pues ya a nivelarlo un poquito, ¿no?
While the Ministry of Agriculture has attributed the excess of product in the market to overlapping harvest cycles, the farmers are not convinced and believe the real issue is that significant amounts of carrots are being imported into the country illegally.
Han explicado aquí a ustedes la situación presentemente con el mercado, porque entendemos que también el distrito de Cayo también tiene producto y lo están vendiendo también a precio menor.
Sí, pero nosotros a veces nos podemos pensar, no sé qué puede hacer. Extrañamos un poco, podemos pensar en contrabando, pero a veces nos entra duda porque los compradores antes venían y llevaban 100 sacos de un solo, 80, 100 y los mayoristas, y ahora resulta que solo quieren 25 o 30 sacos, entonces ahí es donde viene la duda, ¿no? Porque el Cayo puede tener, pero también aquí nos compran, ¿no? Y entonces no vemos pues, la razón, ¿no? Y nosotros peleamos con ellos y decimos, pero ¿por qué? Si antes venían y en un camioncito 100 sacos, 80 sacos, ahora solo quieren 25, 30 sacos, ¿qué está pasando, no?
Are facing the same problem. Basically, it's the selling of the cars that we are having problem right now. And well, I have contacted some of my buyers, and they are not buying. That's the whole reason behind. I don't know what's happening. Well, what I could, to my understanding and to what I have viewed with when it comes to carrots and onions, most of in my situation, I usually sell to wholesalers, to big buyers. Those big buyers are the importers, right? And one of the problems that we are facing right now, and we have been facing this, I think last year was also one of the toughest year we had, is that those middlemen, they are not buying from us. It is claimed on quotation, right, that the license is, they're not giving license, to import, but still we are seeing Mexican products on the market. So what is happening? That is the reason we want to know, right? And some of our farmers do have evidence that those importers, they are really bringing in stuff through the border. And also, as you can see, I'm from Pachacan. Pachacan is right borderline to Mexico. I can say that maybe 6 or 4 years back, there was a lot of contraband there. I honestly, and I saw it. But now, I have not, this year, I have not seen that much, I could say. So as a result of this, I can say, and I can conclude that this contraband is passing through the border. As easy as that.
As we head into the month of June, farmers in both the Orange Walk and Corozal districts are traditionally coming to the end of their harvesting season. With the current situation, however, these farmers are just now beginning to sell their products.
At this time, I should have already been sold.
And have you sold any portion as yet?
I started selling 2 weeks ago, and honestly, I have only sold 8 sacks of carrots.
And how much sacks do you usually sell?
Well, at this time, at least 50 to 75. It's a big margin.
¿Cómo está la situación ahorita con el mercado y el precio? ¿Hasta cuándo piensan aquí en Indian Church que van a tener zanahoria?
Yo pienso que si ya comenzaron ahorita, comienza a salir la zanahoria de aquí del sur, entonces yo pienso que la zanahoria no va a tardar, lo más tal vez un par de meses, tal vez si no un mes y medio para que se vaya.
For these farmers, it is crucial that their carrot is sold in the coming weeks or they face losing their crop.
Mayormente para que la zanahoria tiene que tener sus 4 meses. Ya de 4 meses, como ahorita tiene como 4 meses y medio. Tal vez ya unos 20 días más ya esta zanahoria ya no va a estar buena, ¿no? Porque ya va a sazonar mucho.
It's not really an issue of price, because we would rather try to sell, take it out, instead of just having it sitting down there and we can last more than, it will spoil, right? So price is not a problem. We would really like to have a good price, yes. Anybody would say that, right? But then also our aim is selling out and try to get back our investment, that we already did on this plantation.
The media tour today also included the community of San Carlos. However, the farmers in that community were up in arms over the current market conditions and their inability to market their product and opted to refrain from speaking to the media. Reporting for Ctv3 News, Norma Ruiz.
The recent woes in the local market have undoubtedly raised a serious concern among local carrot producers as they contend with the reality that they can lose their crops if they are not sold in the coming weeks or before the start of the rainy season. As you heard earlier, farmers are not convinced that the oversupply of carrots in the market is due to overlapping cycles and instead believe the market is being invaded by Mexican product. Based on the production data and market analysis, however, the Ministry of Agriculture says that climate conditions back in 2023 affected the planting season for farmers in parts of the country, which in turn resulted in the overlapping of harvesting cycles this year.
The situation is not localized to the north. It's a situation that's national. And it's a situation that the ministry has faced for a couple of years now. I want to reiterate that the Ministry of Agriculture is responsible for production, and that's what we do. Our extension officers are out there with the farmers, ensuring that there is proper planning, and there is production, and then there is the product on the local market. The situation that we're having now is as a result of what we faced last year. During the months from August to October, we had a drought, preventing the farmers that were to plant early based on the schedule that they had created with the Ministry of Agriculture. After that, we had an issue with flooding that compounded the situation further. So everybody started to plant around the same time from around the end of November to December, compounding the situation where now we have an overlapping of production. That overlap has created an issue with what you're having now. Our market is so small in Belize. We only have a limited amount of people. How much can we eat at a certain time? There's a demand of around 40,000 pounds per week. When Stann Creek started the harvest, Cayo started the harvest, Orange Rock started the harvest, Corozal started the harvest, around the same time that we have products that are not moving. It's not an issue of what we would consider issuing permits, because the Ministry of Agriculture has on record that we haven't issued permits since November of last year. So the situation reached a peak last week, and basically middle of this week. Now the farmers are still angry because they do believe that there is an issue with contraband, which the Ministry of Agriculture basically has no control over. What we do control is the import permits that we issue. And on the record, we haven't issued any permits. So we are cognizant, and this is why we invited you guys here, to actually see that we do have products. While the farmers here, especially in the north, this region, they don't want to believe that we do have products in other parts of the country.
And while the bulk of the carrots are from local production, Director of Extensions Andrew Mejia says the farmers are not entirely wrong when saying that there is contraband coming into the country.
I do believe so, and I won't discredit them. What the Ministry of Agriculture has done is that we are in the process of reactivating our vegetable interdiction team that comprises of Custom, Immigration, Police, Ministry, Baja, to see what is actually happening with this accusation. Otherwise, we don't have any concrete information on that. So until the team is activated, then we'll have a hand as to what is actually happening. But I can assure the farmers that the saturation is due to overproduction, oversupply at this time.
In Cayo has been the main supplier in the country as wholesalers first turn to more strategic supplies which are closer to Belize City, which is the largest consumer of the product.
Not necessarily. It's more about logistics. The Cayo market is closer to Belize City, and these guys go to Belize City often, so they just prefer to buy from that location. Because the quality up here is as good as what we get in Cayo. The wholesalers are starting to come up this side. Why? The quantity of the carrots down in Cayo is going down, as you guys will see tomorrow. We basically only have about 4 or 5 acres there left to harvest. So by next week that should be depleted, and then the wholesalers will be coming back this side to buy from whatever is remaining up here in the north.
The situation in the north, however, is expected to improve in the coming days, according to Mejia, as production in Cayo comes to an end this week.
It's coming better, and I want to reassure them. They're angry because they have their own perceptions as to why it is like this. The Ministry of Agriculture has done its best. This is not a situation where the ministry would deliberately try to stifle their livelihood. It's not a situation like that. It's a situation that is compounded because of what happened last year. So they might not be selling today or tomorrow, yesterday, as they would wish, but come next week, they'll be basically the only ones in the market, and they will be selling their products.
At that time, however, the quality for some of these carrots would have diminished significantly. What happens then?
And that's a sacrifice that the farmers will have to make. But let me say, usually around this time, when the supply is so low and the demand is still high, then the prices go up as well. So by the time these farmers are ready to sell, or by the time the wholesalers get to them, the prices will be higher than what they're selling right now. So that's a benefit for them.
With the situation currently affecting the local market ultimately caused by the effects of climate change, Mejia says that there is not much the ministry can do to prevent it from recurring again. Farmers can do their part by planning accordingly.
And we try our best every year with the extension officers to ensure that the scheduling is done The scheduling is super important because when some farmers are producing, some farmers are harvesting, some farmers are selling. But because of the climate change issue that we face, and it's unpredictable, climate change is unpredictable. So while we want to say it's at the mercy of climate change, we also want to say that we will try our utmost best to ensure that the schedule that we put out there and the quantity that we plan, because that's another problem. We plan with the farmers, okay, you will plant 5 acres, you will plant 10 acres. At the end of the day, some plant way more than they actually agreed with the ministry. So there's a lot of work to do on this part, but a situation like this shouldn't be happening.
Representatives of the Belize Marketing and Development Corporation, BMDC, also formed part of the tour of carrot fields today. As the main importer of this product in the country, the BMDC says it is concerned with the issues in the local market, but can confirm that there has been zero importation of carrots since 2023.
I'm concerned like any other citizen, and at some extent we're responsible for importing certain goods that are not available local in the market. And I have heard concerns about the carrots issue. And I also heard that we have license right now, and I came here to clear it out. You know, we are not importing carrots from last year, I think November.
While no import permit has been issued by the Ministry of Agriculture since November 2023, Administrator of the BMDC, Valentin Carrillo, says that there is no denying that contraband continues to penetrate our borders.
Well, that it is happening. That is happening. We all know it. It is hard to control contraband. We know it. But when it comes to BMDC, the Belize Marketing and Development Corporation, we are not part of that. Not that, nor not even the illegal crossing of sugar across the world. So that is what I want to clear.
If that is happening, like he mentioned, in large scale, and can that be identified in our market?
In our it's depends on the quality. I'm not experienced in that, to say, well, this is contraband, this is not contraband. I cannot talk about it, what is on the ground. That it is happening, probably, or yes. But there are other factors also accompanying, as I understood from the ministry, that there's other factors influencing the low sale. But I also understand that it is picking up right now because other communities are facing off.
Import permits, according to the BMDC, is given only when the local carrot season has ended and is usually done during the months of August to October. Last night, we told you about the tragic electrocution of 44-year-old Salvadoran national Jose Rodriguez. Rodriguez, who was a construction worker, was changing the zinc roof of a home located in the village of Santa Clara in Corozal when his drill came in contact with a high-tension wire. Rodriguez's 18-year-old son was working with him when he met his tragic end. Today, we spoke to the sister-in-law of the deceased, who told us that he was looking forward to his daughter's graduation scheduled for next Saturday.
Ha sido y es una situación muy dolorosa, porque José desde su juventud ha venido a Belice, el centroamericano, para tener una vida más, ¿verdad?, como cualquiera de nosotros. Y escogió a Belice, a nuestro país, que le pudo darle a él esa libertad de poder trabajar, de poder formar su familia aquí en Belice, enamorarse de una bella muchacha que es su esposa, Ada Chan. Y en su juventud aquí se casó y aquí lo recibimos con mucho amor y cariño en la familia Chan. Y de ahí dedicó toda su vida, desde que se casó Elmer, a trabajar, a amar a esa mujer, así como lo dice el santo matrimonio, Elmer, que Dios nos tiene encomendado. Tuvieron sus hijos, 2 lindos niños. Elmer, tú sabes qué felicidad fue para ese hombre, José, al tener su primer bebé. Elsner, luego Elsner Rodríguez, luego Ivonne Rodríguez. Ese fue el motivo de su inspiración, motivación, pasión para seguir trabajando arduamente. Y toda la vecindad saben que este hombre fue un guerrero hasta el último. Porque desde que ese hombre se casó y tuvo sus hijos a trabajar, nunca tuvo un día de descanso. ¿Sabes cuál día fue? Y lo más doloroso, que hasta mi corazón está que late Elmer, porque el sábado es su Parents' Night de su hija. El próximo sábado, en Escuela México, ella es una estudiante de ahí, se iba a graduar de Ford Farm. Esa era su motivación, era su alegría. Ya tenían ropa, todo preparado. Ahora tú dime, ¿cómo le dices eso a esa niña? ¿Cómo ella va a estar para el resto de su vida? Es algo tan y sumamente muy doloroso para la familia.
Chan says safety measures should be in place at all workplaces in order to diminish tragedies as that of her brother-in-law.
Y lo que ha pasado nos tiene en la situación a que tomen conciencia a los que van a trabajar, todos los cuidados. A veces se pueden evitar ciertas cosas, ¿verdad? Pero no lo tenemos comprado, no podemos adivinar, no podemos decir esto va a pasar. Pero sí estoy segura que como padres y cualquier persona que te dé un trabajo, tienen la responsabilidad también de tener el cuidado de la persona que va a estar trabajando para ti. De tener el cuidado, ir a supervisar cómo está, se puede lastimar, en qué condición está. Esa es la conciencia que yo les digo a todos, en todo, no solo en este ámbito de construcción.
One of the first persons to respond to Rodriguez's aid yesterday was assistant nurse Nancy Chan. Lamentably, there was nothing she could have done for him.
Well, like I told you, I was sleeping, so my nephew came and called me to go and assist back there, but really and truly, I don't know what happened, but when I reached there, some of the neighbors were bringing him down, and his face was already cyanotic, so purple, so that means that he never had no pulse. So I told, because I wanted to go up, but the space was too small up there. So some guys that work in the street, they rent back here. So they are the ones, along with a neighbor here, that were bringing him down. So when they brought him down, we laid him flat. I checked if he had pulse, but there was no pulse. So I started CPR. I did 5 cycles of that, but still we couldn't get no pulse. And you got, he only had like burn to his face, I think because of the same electricity that went to his body. The only thing that I saw is through his face, right here on the left side. But apart from that, he had no blink because, like I told you, I did CPR. I never had nothing, like the face mask that we used to give the oxygen through the mouth. I had to do the mouth-on-mouth thing. So he was not bleeding from nowhere.
The body of Jose Rodriguez now awaits a post-mortem examination. On Monday, we told you about a stabbing incident that occurred inside Dee's barber shop in the village of Sarteneja, Corozal. It ended up with 31-year-old Jose Christian Gonzalez and 30-year-old Luis Humberto Gonzalez being stabbed various times. Both men are brothers. And while that incident is now being investigated, another stabbing incident occurred over the past weekend but went under the radar. This time, the matter played out near this zinc roof bus stop at the entrance of Caledonia Village. Elodoro Arimo is the one being accused of stabbing Juan Perez. According to Mo, who spoke to us today over the weekend, he tried to refrain from having an altercation with Perez, who was intoxicated, but it was impossible since Perez kept hurling bottles at him and he was forced to defend himself.
Veníamos de border bien, llegamos hasta Corozal y cuando llegamos a Corozal, por Juan Mal subió, venía hablando con su mujer del restaurante, pero nada más, no es como salieron hablando, pero ahí por Juan Mal subió su marido y yo me quité de la silla, de ahí él subió molesto y me empezó a decir cosas, pues no lo entendía muy bien porque yo tenía mis AirPods, porque yo en mi casa les hacía. Y pues de ahí venía todo el boss diciendo, todo el boss venía hablando. Después de ahí en Concepción se bajó por ahí en el step de la silla. Ahí se empezaron a hablar él y el conductor y el chofer. Venían hablando mal de mí los tres de ellos. De ahí pararon en San Narciso. De San Narciso compraron cerveza porque venían tomando los dos de ellos, el chofer y el atacante que dicen que Juan Pérez. Pero él venía diciéndome cosas que me va a lastimar y después subió mi amigo mío y me lo dijo de que me cuide. Y pues yo cuidándome estaba y él venía gritándome de Buenavista. Y me metí un palo en todo eso y pues como dicen que yo tenía culpa, pero yo no tengo culpa porque solo es una defensa propia, porque cuando llegamos a Caledonia, yo bajando del bus, él ya estaba afuera esperándome, y como dicen que estaba con su mujer, no tenía mujer al lado de él, sino su mujer estaba dentro del bus. Su mujer, nadie vio esto, pero cuando él estaba abajo esperándome fuera del bus, él ya tenía botellas en su mano, todo eso. Él empezó el problema porque yo lo ignoré, le dije que cuando estén en sí podemos hablar. Y de ahí, ignorado le hice y él vino atrás de mí corriendo con botellas. Y él empezó el pleito porque, como dicen que es un asalto, no es asalto, sino es defensa propia porque él empezó todo. Y yo solo hice defenderme porque él empezó con sus botellas allá. Y el chofer venían allá, solo quedaban viendo, ¿no? Porque ellos no dijeron nada que se calme. Pues de ahí me quité, porque cuando yo hice eso me quité y vine y lo conté, pero él venía atrás de mí corriendo con más botellas, siguiéndome, venía tirándome botellas tras botellas atrás.
As a result, Mao was detained. He was released today and hopes that the police carry out a thorough investigation since he is not the one to blame but is now being threatened by Paris's family.
Porque hubo un reporte que solo me dijeron que solo lo lastimé porque el hospital eso dijo. Pero él salió diciendo que es un asalto y pues eso no es un asalto para empezar. Porque es defensa propia, como dije al oficial.
Pero en la parte de la historia donde se dice que tú le hiciste stab a él, eso no es cierto.
Pues eso solo porque es defensa propia, ¿no? Porque él me estaba dando con botellas, me abrazó todavía para que me siga lastimando y eso lo medio, no, porque el stab solo lo medio pinchó porque no fue muy grave porque yo lo sé lo que yo hice.
¿Con qué le hiciste stab? ¿Con un cuchillo? ¿Con una botella?
No, con un cuchillo que andaba en mi bago, porque llegando de trabajar estaba yo. Yo pues, como siempre trabajo y como dicen que es un asalto, yo no tengo que asaltar a ninguna gente porque yo solo trabajo por mi dinero, como les digo a todos. Porque acá sí dijeron que yo peleando por mujer, yo peleando mujer hay un montón en este mundo.
Y el problema me han dicho de que es un problema que ya viene desde semanas que te está buscando.
Pues sí, él anda buscándome desde tiempo, hace dos semanas que venía diciéndome cosas, pero como yo no le hacía caso, pues él vino provocando ese día que fue, el sábado, el sábado pasado, porque no sé qué venía molesto, venía tomando, venía furioso, no sé si estaban drogados, no sé qué tenía. Pero lo que les digo que es defensa propia porque Eso no es justo lo que están hablando ahorita de mí, porque dicen que yo solo lo hice por hacer y eso no es. Pues su familia me está pensando a sus hermanos que van a querer intentar acabar conmigo porque lo que hice es un asalto y eso no es asalto. Yo solo quiero que los policías hagan su trabajo porque yo solo quiero salir de este problema porque su familia, su hermano dijeron que van a acabar conmigo porque este problema no ha acabado. Y pues yo solo quiero que se haga justicia con esto y que los policías se den cuenta que solo son una defensa propia, pero quiero que sepan igual que sus hermanos me están amenazando, la familia, porque dicen que van a acabar conmigo.
The matter is being investigated by the Corozal Police Department. Coming up next, Belize stands in solidarity with the people and government of Taiwan as China's actions escalate. Stay tuned.
This plan, I can't let this plan. Smart Belize!
Hey there, smart thinkers. We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speeds flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a lone ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered-up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
I know I can't let this plan. I can't let this plan.
Pro SC is here on Saturday, June 15th. Pro SC is back in Orange Walk Town inside the Orange Walk Multi-Purpose Complex. Pro SC 12. Vasquez versus Aguilar. For the main event, we have the 145 pounds professional MMA fight between undefeated Belizean MMA star Frank Mac Vasquez versus Mexico's Ari El Trompito Aguilar. We also have 8 other exciting MMA fights, including Orange Walk's very own 135 pounds champion Jalen Perez, as he takes on the #1 ranked fighter in Central America, Christian Centeno from Nicaragua, in a fight that will determine the #1 bantamweight in the entire Latin America region. It's going to be a night filled with exciting MMA action from start to finish. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. and the event starts at 7:30 p.m. sharp. General admission tickets are available at the Shell One Stop gas station in Orange Walk Town or from any Pro FC fighter. VIP tickets are by WhatsApp reservations only. 670-0716. Pro FC, Belize Premier MMA League.
Administrator of the Belize Marketing and Development Corporation, BMDC, Valentin Carrillo, while speaking to the media today, spoke about their role as distributors of local sugar in the market as the country continues to face a shortage.
This on BMDC's part is not part of that, As I explained, we bought 92 tons of white sugar for the domestic market for distribution from October last year to April, I believe, April this year, which is roughly about 268 bags per month. We divided into 4 branches that we have with Orange Rock, Belize, San Pedro, and PG in Big Falls. So that rough averages about 60 bags per month. When you divide it by week, it's only 15 bags that we distribute in each branch per week, 15 bags.
As the government arm responsible for the marketing and sale of locally produced products, Carrillo says the BMDC would be prepared to take on a much bigger role in the distribution of sugar in a controlled manner, which can help to mitigate the illegal sale of Belizean sugar in neighboring countries where the commodity is sold at a much higher price.
Well, that's the high acquisition price over there. I believe SICB also made comments that over there is $2 and change per pound. and our one is 68 cents, 75 cents, you know.
Yeah.
Even some people, maybe they're selling for 80, 85 cents, but still, compared to $2, you know, they will contraband it, you know. So there needs some control.
Definitely.
But on BMDC part, we are doing our control. If we get more quota, we will control it, you know. And as I said, I was not aware that there was shortages this month, you know. In fact, I had more quota, but I did not buy it, you know, because we are concentrating on rice, you know, rice distribution, you know. And every time I say, okay, there's no problem with sugar, so I said, in fact, I think there's 1 month that we didn't buy any sugar. Well, I didn't know that there was a problem with shortages, you know. So at some point, 1 month we had transportation problem. We didn't even buy sugar. I think it was like March, you know. So how can we can assist if they say, well, you know what, let's give BMDC 50% of the distribution. Then as a government entity, we can monitor on who to sell, where to sell, and even maybe bag it in one pong to dissuade people from, you know, moving this across the border. All of these things. It's because, you know, that is one of the ways that we can control, you know. Just like rice. Rice was coming in bulks from Mexico. It was the reverse, you know. But we started putting it 1 pong and 2 pongs. And then, you know, the people didn't have the facility to bag it to 1 pong, 2 pongs. So you see no rice from across coming into the country. Similarly, we can do to avoid it going across the country. So all of these things, there's various ways to monitor, you know. And also, of course, control who you sell. I mean by the mill. And by the vendors themselves, by the distributors, you know. Everybody has to do their part.
Minister of Health and Wellness Kevin Bernard represented Belize at the 77th World Health Assembly in Geneva, Switzerland. Upon taking the podium, Minister Bernard underscored Belize's unwavering commitment to the principle of all for health, health for all, as he highlighted some of the country's several key achievements and initiatives that signify Belize's dedication to advancing public health.
We have established new health centers in rural areas, including access to essential medical services for even our most remote communities. This expansion is crucial in achieving health for all. In combating communicable diseases, our robust immunization campaign has achieved over 90% vaccination coverage, protecting our children and vulnerable populations. I am proud to announce that Belize has been certified malaria-free and has achieved zero mother-to-child transmission of HIV and syphilis, milestones reflecting our dedication to public health. Addressing NCDs remains a priority. Through our national NCD strategic plan, we have enhanced public awareness, early detection, and promoted healthier lifestyles. We have updated our National Cancer Strategic Plan and are working towards eliminating cervical cancer with support from PAHO WHO, increasing the availability of cancer pharmaceuticals. Mental health is another area of progress. We have completed our mental health policy and integrated mental health services into primary health care, ensuring accessibility and reducing stigma. Additionally, we have launched our nutrition policy and completed a draft tobacco control bill, strengthening our public health legislative framework.
Expansion of the National Health Insurance NHI services was also in tune during the minister's address, as well as Belize's unwavering support for Taiwan's inclusion in the global health community.
Our NHI services have been expanded, with plans to roll out NHI across the entire country next year. We have also enhanced our diagnostic capabilities with investments in a 128-slice diagnostic CT scanner and new X-ray machines for regional facilities. These advancements are crucial for timely and accurate diagnosis, improving patient outcomes. As we gather here at the World Health Assembly, Belize reaffirms its commitment to the global health agenda. We recognize that achieving health for all requires collaborative efforts, shared knowledge, and mutual support. Belize stands ready to contribute to and learn from the collective wisdom of this assembly. In the spirit of collaboration and inclusivity, Belize strongly supports Taiwan's participation in the events of the World Health Assembly and all other related activities. Taiwan has demonstrated its capacity and commitment to global health, and it is our firm belief that their expertise and contributions are invaluable. Belize stands by Taiwan and as an independent and sovereign nation, and we call for their full inclusion in the global health community.
And talking about Taiwan, the government of Belize today reaffirmed its solidarity with the people and government of that country. In a statement, the Brazilian administration expressed, quote, concern over the recent escalation of actions by the People's Republic of China in the Taiwan Strait. These actions pose a threat to international peace and stability in the region and undermine the right to self-determination upheld by the people of the Republic of China, Taiwan, unquote. As mentioned previously, tensions are escalating in the Taiwan Strait as China has initiated 2 days of military drills encircling Taiwan, only days after the egalitarianism inaugurated a new leader who has long been disfavored by Beijing. China's military says the drills are designed to test its ability to seize power over Taiwan. Belize is urging the People's Republic of China to seize these provocations to prevent further escalation of tensions and to respect democratic values cherished by the people of Taiwan. The Senate Special Select Committee's public hearing on the Portico Definitive Agreement is being suspended once more. Why, you may ask? Well, this time it is because former UDP Minister Erwin Contreras has declined to participate, according to a release from the committee. The next hearing was scheduled for Wednesday, May 29, 2024 at 9:30 a.m. at the National Assembly building in Belmopan. In the release, the committee says that it had anticipated the attendance of Contreras, who has since indicated his unwillingness to attend. The release states, and we quote, the committee is most disappointed at this information as Mr. Contreras has already admitted that he signed the definitive agreement which committed the government and the people of Belize to grant Portico financial concessions worth hundreds of millions of dollars for 30 years. Mr. Contreras is the only person and former government minister who can explain why he signed the agreement. At the end of the release, the committee is urging Contreras to reconsider his decision and attend the hearing. The Libertad Seventh-day Adventist Primary School today hosted their cultural day for students and individuals from the community. The multi-ethnic background of students attending the school was utilized to bring to portray the beliefs, practices, and way of living of almost all the ethnicities found in Belize. Students arrived at school in their cultural attire, ready to present. Sol Solis, a teacher at the institution, shared with us how the experience highlighted the importance of our mixed culture.
Today we are celebrating the different cultures in our country, and including our students as they dressed up in their different costumes. We are sure that they feel part of every culture that we are displaying, that we are promoting and embracing.
And as a teacher, how significant is this for your students to know that at the Libertad State School they are welcomed regardless of what race they belong to and in whatever religion they believe in?
We believe in inclusivity, and definitely we know that they feel loved because of, even if they come from different backgrounds, they are embraced as that, you know.
And I believe that I found some parents around too.
Yes, definitely some parents have been really supportive with us, and they have been part of this as well.
The main objective of the Cultural Day is to create a bridge to connect the different cultural groups and raise awareness of the importance of preserving our identity as Belizeans. Solis says that objective was met today.
Our finding and looking for our identity is one of the main ones. Many a days these children have lost where they come from, and it's beautiful to understand that they belong to a beautiful culture in our country. So these activities allow us to make children feel included in every part, but also embrace whatever they have. We share so many things around with food, with costumes. We share so much that we can definitely continue on to passing out as our legacy.
There is more news after the break. Stay tuned.
At St. Francis Xavier Credit Union, I know that I can depend on them, and they have been here for me when I needed it most. There have been several instances where emergencies popped up, and they were here for me, so that is what I like most. The services here, I believe it's very important for the community. It lends a hand to most of the community, or all who want to be part of it, and it caters for all levels in society, especially ones like me who we don't have all the time what we need. So we can depend on the credit union just like the farmers can, teachers can, and the general public.
ITSAT STEAM Academy is a four-year government high school that does focus on science, technology, engineering, arts and mathematics, which is called STEAM.
Before this, I've been to other high schools or private schools, and just being here feels so much more different. But my experience with STEAM in a whole, I love it.
ITSAT STEAM Academy, we are inclusive.
Females in robotics, I think that we could have a lot of success.
This has been the best experience school life I've ever had. It brings out your creative and innovative side in almost all subjects. In fact, in all subjects.
My experience at ITSAT STEAM Academy is stunning.
Our students will, I hope, tell you that they are happy to be here, because from the moment they set foot in the campus in the morning to the moment they leave, they're engaged in interesting activities which have real meaning to their lives. And by doing this, the learning is much deeper, more effective and long-lasting.
The Fourth International Conference on Small Island Developing States Charting the Course Toward Resilient Prosperity is currently being held in St. John's, Antigua and Barbuda from the 27th to the 30th of May 2024. Representing Belize is Minister of Sustainable Development and Climate Resilience, Orlando Habet. Currently, small island developing states, SIDS, are in the crossfires of multiple crises, including climate change, which is becoming increasingly urgent as weather-related disasters have doubled in 2 decades, with small developing states both most vulnerable and least responsible. And this is where climate justice comes in. According to Minister Habet, G20s that produce 80% of emissions must reduce that amount and increase mitigation so that countries like Belize, who are at the receiving end of climate change impacts, can start obtaining differences. This will then lead to a global reduction of climate change effects. But while this takes place, financing is needed for countries like Belize to build resilience.
For us to be able to put down certain adaptation measures so that we can build resilience, then it is imperative that we get the financing, that we get the funding to do these adaptation projects that will build resilience for our small states and our communities. It has not been forthcoming. The promises are not being fulfilled, and the little monies that are available are difficult to access, and many times they come hinged with a lot of conditions, and many times things that we can't really afford or really want to do because they really don't make sense. So that is where we're certainly seeking the climate justice in terms of trying to get the funding to be able to do the implementation for NDCs that we commit to. But without the funding, we can't do it. We have, as you know, our last NDC shows a lot of ambition, but we have a gap of about $1.7 billion for us to be able to implement our NDCs from here to 2030.
Short of $1.7 billion to meet the nationally determined contributions NDCs by 2030, small countries are not looking into developing a framework to identify the most vital adaptation projects.
Countries are now looking at trying to have a finance framework that can look at these issues on a more real basis based on assessments of costs, and especially in terms of recuperation from disasters, sea level rise, for us, coral bleaching, shore and coastal erosion, the effects of hurricanes, and all these things that are effects, some immediate effects and some long-term effects of climate change. And so they're talking numbers that we might not even understand in the trillions, but that these are the monies that are needed from here to 2050 to be able to decrease the effects of climate change, really do a lot of work on mitigation, and really try to put a lot of the funding, at least 50%, into adaptation, which is where SIDS and other small states will be able to benefit from to implement their commitments.
Alternative financing is also being looked according to Habet.
And that is where Belize and other countries have taken bold steps in looking at alternative financing, one, both from domestic sources, but also from regional or international sources, and also looking, and for us to, in a way, looking at doing evaluation of our natural assets to see if those natural assets can be leveraged to get funding to do some of the work. But not only work for climate, but also for developmental work to have national development, whether it is for health, infrastructure, education, and other areas, social development, of course.
Under the Paris Agreement, the aim is to cut emissions to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius by 2030. If moves are not made urgently, the target will not be met, according to experts. On May 27, the government of Belize and the Nature Conservancy TNC co-hosted a side event at the 4th International Conference on SIDS entitled How Debt for Nature and Debt for Climate Swaps Can Help SIDS Economies, Belize Case Study and Tools for Governments in Antigua and Barbuda. The Belize Blue Bonds was presented as a success case study to emphasize how tools such as debt for nature and debt for climate swaps can be used to help SIDS country achieve their nature and climate commitments, foster blue economy strategies, increase resilience to natural disasters without increasing a country's debt or debt service burden. The presentation was carried out by Mr. Habet.
This has been taken on and seen as something very viable for some states that can have those assets, but also one of the requirements is that you have to have the debt to be able to restructure the debt, and then other commitments that can be made from other institutions. In our case, we were lucky to be able to have the Development Finance Corporation from the United States to back up our part of the agreement, and so we were able to be successful in that transaction. So all these things have to be put in place so that then it can be done. There are countries who may have alternative means, but can also have something that is similar. Like Belize, for example, we have carbon assets that are blue carbon, for example, from mangroves or seagrass that can be leveraged to be properly assessed, certified, and then sold so that we can get funding to fund some of our NDC commitments and also to be used for national development projects.
The TNC Nature Bonds Toolkit was officially launched at the side event. The meeting was opened by the Honorable Orlando Habet, Head of Delegation and Minister of Sustainable Development and Climate Change. Mrs. Beverly Wade, Director of the Blue Bonds and Finance Permanence Unit, presented on the structure, benefits, and challenges of the Belize Blue Bonds from concept creation and implementation. The targeted nature outcomes and impacts achieved to date under the Belize Blue Bonds were also showcased. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Thursday, May 38th here on Ctv3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews or our YouTube channel at Ctv3 News BZ. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at Ctv3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.